Welcome to Reclaimed, the podcast, a sanctuary for women ready to stop surviving and really start thriving. I am Kyla Gagnon, breathwork facilitator, empowerment leader, and guide to bring you home to your feminine power. It is time you reclaim what is yours. In this space, we soften, we feel, we heal, we rise together. Sit back, relax. This is Reclaimed. Hello, Alanna. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, again. It's funny. Alanna and I recorded, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3, some time ago. And my audio didn't connect. So here we are again, round 2. And I always, I very much think that everything happens exactly how it's supposed to. Anytime I'm writing something, maybe it's a long email or I'm prepping for a masterclass or something, and it disappears. You're like, and you think it's, it's obviously very frustrating, but I just assume that the thing I tell myself is, no, it could have been better. Like you missed something.
Yeah.
You missed it. You missed the whole point of it. Could be better. So here we are again. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I truly believe that, these things happen for a reason. And as we were saying, a lot has shifted for me in the last couple of weeks. So I have like a lot more to talk about. Not that I didn't have anything to talk about the last time, but a different direction, I guess you could say.
I'm so excited to hear all about it. For both you and I and those listening, I'm going to just take us into a bit of breath for a few moments just to ground and settle in, and that feels good. Those of you listening, of course, if you're driving, the rules, don't close your eyes, but you're very welcome to join us. Those of you that are home and settled and feel like that would be really nice to close your eyes, go for it. But wherever you are, just inviting you to find like a really comfy spot. If you're standing, if you're sitting, whatever feels really just cozy, relaxing in your body right now, go ahead and do that. If that means closing your eyes, let them close. If it means soft gaze, let it be soft, or wide open, let it be wide open. And first, I just invite you to let your next exhale maybe have a sigh or a sound, or maybe even just like a physical movement of release. For some people, that may be dropping the shoulders, maybe kind of shaking the body a little bit, and maybe the next inhale actually feels deeper. And for each of us, it's going to feel a little bit different. I like to breathe in through my nose and out my mouth when I'm settling in and trying to clear some energy. Do what feels good for you. Maybe that's all through your mouth or all through your nose. But just really knowing that you can't do that wrong. So whatever comes to you right now is correct. And then I wonder, as you continue to breathe in this way, if it's possible to just find a softening in that. Even like a 1% softening where your effort is 1% less. And that might be in the way you physically breathe, or might be in the tension or the holding in a certain part of your body. I like to think about the inside of my body, the inside of my mouth and my throat, even my head, my eyes, my forehead, my cheeks. And I think about what would it feel like to soften from the inside. And softening down your throat into your chest and your ribs, your belly. There's many things that happen in our day, conversations, experiences, that will create a bit of a contraction physically in the body. Sometimes it's quite noticeable, sometimes it's not so noticeable. So these moments of where can I soften really help bring us back to more of a homeostasis, more presence. So just, contemplating throughout your day, where can I soften? Where can I find even 1% more ease? And wherever you are with your breath, maybe taking a nice, long, full inhale right to the very tip top of your head, and exhaling however that feels good, but just starting to bring a bit more awareness and awakefulness into your breath, into your body. That might come with some movement or some stretching, some tapping, some self-massage, a yawn, some sound, whatever that comes with, let that be correct. And eventually journeying back. If you're home and you can stay with your eyes closed and relax, do that. But Alanna and I are going to come back to life, have a conversation.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
I
I
needed
needed that.
that.
I needed that too. Like, can we do that again? Oh man. Yeah, so I asked you this exact question a few weeks ago, and things can change. So it might be the same answer, but I'm curious what you are currently reclaiming.
Oh, what am I reclaiming? To be honest, I feel like I've really spent the last few weeks just reclaiming my truth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I've really, I don't know, like if it's like an astrological thing or like what is going on, or if it's just sort of like a seasonal change, maybe, which we are going through right now. But um, I've really surrendered into like my own truth and what I'm meant to be doing here. Um, and that partly could be due to the work that I do and just like owning that even more and speaking with people and having them kind of reflect back to me how powerful the work that I do is,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how that's resonating with them. So I think, you know, having those two things makes you come in deeper into your own truth and your own knowing and recognizing that like, wow, I am making a difference and I am, you know, doing what I'm meant to be doing, and it feels really good and it feels really in flow. So like just
Mm-hmm.
leaning more and more into that.
Yeah. Yay.
Hmm.
So has there been like what does that more granularly look like for you? Has there been like stories, beliefs, practices, behaviors that I want to say have had to release, but that doesn't happen that quickly? Um what does that look like day to day for you?
Yeah, I think I would say that it's more of like an inner groundedness,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, or like this feeling of peace and calm, and recognizing that I don't need to rush anything and I can take my time, and um, I am right on time. You know, I'm not looking for any kind of external validation from anybody because like I just feel really grounded in what I'm doing. Um, yeah, so I would say it's just like a real feeling of calm and ease and doing things in my own time. And interestingly, even though I'm feeling that way, I've produced more work in the last few weeks than I think I have all year.
Yeah.
So that's also
Yeah.
really interesting contrast.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that's because it's coming from like a really aligned place, so it just
Totally.
flows easier? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Like since we met last, um, I've been doing all kinds of embodied soul code readings,
Yeah.
which I think we talked about. And,
Yeah.
you know, I know we'll talk a little bit more about, but I've been doing those
Yeah.
like crazy. My calendar has just been filling up with those. I wrote a book.
What?
Yeah. It
In the
just,
last couple weeks?
yes.
No big deal. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah. And I also have kind of like altered my embodied soul code readings into more of like a corporate tool.
Oh.
that I haven't really talked about with anybody yet, that, it's just sort of sitting there waiting for me. But yeah, I stripped out kind of all of the esoteric kind of woo-woo parts of my embodied soul code reading and put it more into like a corporate messaging, kind of more boring, but recognizing that, you know, it needs to be that way if I want to be taken seriously in that realm, right?
Right.
So, yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing over the last few weeks. So it's just been a lot.
Wow.
Mhm.
And so are you wanting to go in the direction of supporting corporate with your work? Like, are you really wanting to get in? That's the plan?
I'd like to, not completely,
Hmm.
but I came from that world,
Hmm.
because I started out in my career in corporate communications and working at a
Hmm.
public relations agency. So, um, I've wanted to not necessarily go back to that world, but I've
Hmm.
wanted to bring my gifts into
Hmm.
that realm. And I
Yeah.
think the world is, gotten to this place where they're waking up enough to maybe bring some of this um, information into the corporate world.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I'm willing to give it a try, but basically I'm competing against, if we want to say competing, but I'm
Yeah.
competing against like things like the DISC assessment and like Myers-Briggs
Right.
testing and stuff like that, which I think is kind of old school when it
Yeah.
comes to like creating teams and
Yeah.
learning about your employees or your executives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and basically what I do individually with people and what I'm discovering as I'm doing more and more readings is it really helps you figure out like what is your superpower, what are your gifts, what are your key
Hmm.
strengths, but also like um what are some things that you could also work through.
Hmm.
um and then that has a huge impact on like how you communicate with people, how you express yourself in your role or in your job or something like that. So I feel like it could really help teams come together, or like executive teams come together and
Hmm.
see how they can work together in a more aligned way. So I've
Yeah.
called it the aligned leader profile,
Mm.
um, because I think that now leadership needs to be more aligned than ever before when it comes to
Hmm.
like working in corporate settings.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of
That's
an
very,
exciting thing that
yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't even put out there yet, but
Well, that's out there.
it's out there.
Now it's out there. So what then with this new change, have you had to leave anything behind? What are you no longer available for?
um I think what I've left behind is sort of this. Actually, I put this on my Instagram yesterday. I did a little video just kind of about how I'm feeling, but like in the last sort of year and a half,
Hmm.
um, like I went viral on Instagram
Right.
a year and a half ago. And I
Yeah.
went from like 4,000 followers to almost 70,000 followers, like in a matter of 4 weeks or something like that. It was crazy.
Wow. Wow.
Um, And that was a really interesting time because it was awesome. It got my work out in front of a lot more people, which was really
Hmm.
exciting.
Hmm.
But it also it created this thing in me where I wanted to just keep up with it. Like it
Yeah.
was like I was competing with myself and being like, how many more likes can I get? And like how many more shares and all this stuff. And I feel like I've been on this sort of treadmill since this happened, where I'm just like wanting to keep up with the hype and the
Right.
trends and like showing up in a specific way that's going to like get to the algorithm or like get what I think people want.
Hmm.
Um, and over the last couple of weeks, I'm like, you know what? I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
How fresh, how like refreshing is that?
yeah. And it's just like, yesterday I said in this video, like, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here
Mm.
to reflect back to you that, you have all of the answers and you know them all and you've just forgotten. And I'm here to
Hmm.
be that mirror for you. And that's what I
Hmm.
do with my work.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm not here to entertain you. And I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So if I want to show up and just do a video that's like, doesn't have a hook, doesn't have like, 4 steps or something like that, like I'm just not available for that anymore. I'm just going to show up and do my
Yeah.
thing. And if you happen to see it and you like it, great. And if you keep scrolling, I don't care,
Yeah.
you know?
That's so refreshing, and it's been a conversation in my house and with friends, even just this morning, actually sitting on my deck with a girlfriend of mine, and yeah, we can get it's such anyway, it's a fascinating line, but with business specifically, like the time, we live in this really weird time, and it's a beautiful time, and it's also this weird time, and everyone's on social media, and we're all online, and you used the word competing earlier. It kind of feels like you are, and as solo entrepreneurs and these small businesses, it's like it's just us.
Yeah.
Um, it's so easy to get pulled into that. How many likes, how many shares, how many this? Oh my God, da, 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 da. I need to be posting all the time. I need to post every day, or maybe even a couple times every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the question is like, well, what are you posting? Are you posting from a place of, I have to post this? Or are you posting from a place of, oh, I really love this and I'm just going to put it out there and share it? Which then, like, that trickles into even how we do business. Are we doing business then if we're chasing the likes and chasing the follows and even chasing the money?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still in this work for the right reasons? And the work that you do and the work that I do and the work that I think a lot of women are doing these days is really heart-centered work, and it's service-based work. And we're losing that connection when we get sucked into this portal
Yeah,
of social media, and I'm so grateful for social media. That's how
totally.
you and I, like, it's a coin. There are two sides to this coin.
Mm-hmm.
And so finding that balance, and you spoke to it earlier of that, like, I have it, I have what I need. I am enough. I have the answers. I can actually trust that how I'm showing up and what I'm offering is enough.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is the piece that we maybe a lot are missing or don't fully trust.
Yeah.
And, society and social media is making it hard for us to trust that in ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Well, and that's always kind of been my message, has been about trusting, right?
Yeah.
Self-trust.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like with this latest offering that I have, I don't even like to call it an offering because I feel like it's not even that. It's a gift that
Mhm.
I've unlocked within myself,
Mhm.
by creating these embodied soul code readings,
Mhm.
which I created for myself to start
Right.
with, right? But going deeper into my own code and then doing them for many other people has just allowed me to trust myself more and more and more, and has unlocked like all these different things for me where now I just have such deep trust in what I'm doing that like
Mhm.
that's why I can sit here and just be like, I don't care, you know, because whereas like a year ago, I wouldn't have been able to sit here and say that,
Mhm.
because I didn't trust myself. I didn't have that knowing. I didn't really believe that, what I was doing was 100% aligned. Whereas now I can say that
Mhm.
completely. Like I just know.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that is really cool, you know?
It is really cool. It
I just
feels
feel
really
really good.
spacious, like really
Yeah.
so freeing.
Yeah.
So freeing and so powerful. Um Can you give, like, I mean, gosh, go into as much detail or as little as you want, but kind of your journey even to get here? You said you
Yeah.
worked in corporate before. Like,
Mhm.
what was your journey? Because I think
Yeah.
it can be really easy for people to see someone at their, like, chapter 12
Oh, yeah.
and it's going really well, and they're like, "Oh, must be easy, must be nice," and it's like, "Whoa, wait a minute." There was like there's
Yeah.
many chapters before.
Lots of steps.
So many steps.
Lots of steps. Yeah. So I started out in corporate, as I mentioned, working in a public relations agency. And from literally day one of that job, like I hated it. And when you just are like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm doing
Mhm.
it because
Mhm.
I don't know, I'm 23 and I need a job, and
Yeah.
I went to university, and like mom and dad are like, you need to have a job.
Yep.
So, I was in that job, knew it wasn't right for me, and literally from day one was like, how do I get out of here? But stayed there for like almost a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and during that time, I just was like, doing some soul searching, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like trying to figure out what could I do to make myself feel like a little bit more fulfilled.
Yep.
And I ended up taking, like the company that I worked for allowed you to do a compressed work week. So you could work for
Okay.
4 days and get like 20% of your pay cut.
Okay.
So I worked there 4 days a week, and then I applied to teach at the college that I had done my like post-grad certification.
Mm-hmm.
And I started teaching there. And that unlocked something in me that I didn't see in myself when I was working at my agency. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
sort of like I was alive when I
Right.
was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And then that really led me into being like, wow, like it just opened my awareness to like maybe I could do something else. Like I'm
Yeah.
not trapped in this kind of a job.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I ended up like opening my own fabric store. I think we talked about this the last time we
Yeah,
talked,
we
but like I
did.
had an
Yeah.
online fabric store,
Uh-huh.
which I started when I was on maternity leave with my second son.
Yeah.
And so the combination of like continuing to teach 1 day a week and having my fabric store gave me enough sort of confidence to be like, you know what, I can quit my job and still do these things
Mm-hmm.
and stay at home with my little kids at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just did that. And so doing that was like a huge boost for me too, right? And just
Mm-hmm.
in confidence.
Yeah.
And then that led into me um, learning about hypnosis. I had my own stuff going on. I ended up getting featured in a magazine
Right.
about my own anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And that opened me up to meeting with someone like me who's a NLP, like neuro linguistic programming practitioner and
Mm-hmm.
hypnotherapist.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that shifted my life entirely. Like, there's like my life before that
Mm-hmm.
breakthrough with that woman and my life after.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then that sort of like led me into uh, believing in this work a lot more and like understanding the subconscious mind and all the things that come with that.
Yeah.
And then meeting a hypnosis trainer. I took a free masterclass on like hypnotic marketing. I thought that might help me
Mm-hmm.
with my fabric store.
Mm-hmm.
And little did I know at this point in time, because I wasn't in the industry, but obviously this free masterclass was basically just an advertisement for his
Mm-hmm.
hypnosis training.
Yeah.
And so I ended up signing up for it because I was like, oh, this sounds cool. And I would like to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
Um, so I did that. And like, then it led into me doing my NLP practitioner training and then my master practitioner training. And then like just going deeper and deeper and deeper into this world. And that,
Mm-hmm.
I've been in this world now for like 8 years.
Wow. Yeah.
So I mean, yes, it's easy for me for me to sit here and be like, I trust myself and everything is great. But like, trust me, like 20 years ago, I was like a victim. I was anxious. I was hating my life,
Mm-hmm.
working in a job that was not aligned.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but here's the thing. It does take a lot of responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
personal responsibility to
Mm-hmm.
make the shift,
Yeah.
because that wouldn't have happened if I just sat around feeling sorry for myself.
Yeah. I wonder if I almost want to go into that a little bit more. What does that mean to you? Oops, I've just totally lost you. Hold on, don't answer that yet. There you are. Yeah, self-responsibility. What does that look like? What does that mean to you?
Self-responsibility, what that looks like for me is just, being accountable to yourself and taking
Mm-hmm.
responsibility for your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could have quite easily probably stayed in that job and continued to hate my life and
Mhm.
feel bad about myself and think that there was something wrong with me, which
Right.
wasn't this case at all. But instead of sitting there and letting that happen, I took action,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And fortunately, I had a very wise friend who basically shook me up a little bit and was just like, you could sit here and continue to complain about your job, or you could do
Mhm.
something about it, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't know, like it caught me off guard because a lot of the times you become friends with people who will just placate you.
All the yes people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll sit there and listen to you complain and complain and complain. And oftentimes you might not have that friend who's like, can you
Mhm.
stop?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and like move on or do something about it.
Mhm.
So I'm really grateful to that person for like kind of shaking me out of it and being
Yeah.
like, figure yourself out.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you find like do you use that language when you work with clients? Like do you use victim language? Like do you call them a victim?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm like, how do people respond to this? Yeah, so many questions and thoughts about it. It's like even today I was having a conversation with my partner and I was like deep in this like big emotional thing came up for me
Mhm.
seemingly out of nowhere and I had a lot of feelings about it. And he was really calmly sitting there kind of sharing his experience in a similar situation and how he processed it. And I was like, can I just like be in my shit right now? Like I just want to be in it. And so what do you and you can call me out here. It's totally fine. What is your viewpoint on like actually allowing yourself to, is there a time limit? Like, can you sit in it? Do you believe that you're allowed to like sit in the woe is me, for lack of a better term? Like, I felt very victimy in that energy.
Mm.
Um, and then it passed, but I actually felt like I needed to be in it for a little bit. What do you feel about that?
I think it's really important to sit in it for
Mhm.
sure. Um, and I think, it's interesting that you bring up, like, do you tell your clients that they're being victim? Obviously, no.
I knew the answer, but just,
But I think it raises a good point because um, sometimes you do have to let your client or yourself or your partner sit in their, sorrow, because we need to feel these things,
Mhm.
right? This is super, super important. And I
Yeah,
think it's also, we think that we shouldn't because people are like, um, people don't want to feel,
yeah.
right? Like we've been so conditioned to just like, oh, just, get over it, or it's not a big deal, or,
Mhm.
you know,
Pause with me for a moment. This episode is brought to you by The Rebirth. What if the version of you you've been trying to become isn't something you have to chase, but someone you already are, buried beneath old stories, identities, and energy that just doesn't fit anymore? This, my love, is your invitation to The Rebirth. This is a month-long guided journey into the sacred death of who you thought you had to be, so that the most radiant, powerful, turned on, alive version of you can rise. Inside this experience, we move through 3 potent phases: the death and the shedding, releasing what's no longer serving; the reclamation, where you remember who you truly are beneath it all; and the rebirth, where you meet the highest version of yourself and you activate her. This is deep feminine work. It's not about doing more, it's about being more embodied, more magnetic, more you. If you've been craving clarity, confidence, and a reconnection to your power and radiance, my girl, the rebirth is for you. We begin June. It's only $197. Come and take your throne. We are waiting for you. Link is in the show notes.
we've been taught to suppress our feelings so
Mm-hmm.
much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to feel all the feelings, right?
Yeah.
Like you also want to sit in joy and
Yes.
peace and
Yeah.
calm and like excitement. But then why not sit in your anger, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
your frustration or your
Mm-hmm.
sadness? Um, I think that's really important. Like, I lost my dad to cancer 5 years ago,
Sorry.
and when you're grieving, you're sitting in that, and there isn't anything anyone can say to you that's gonna get you out of that.
No. No.
But I think it's important to give it a time limit,
Mhm.
right? And be like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'm gonna spend this week grieving, and then
Mhm.
I'm gonna, like, pick myself up and remember that, I can move on from this. I can,
Mhm.
what are the lessons? What am I extracting from this?
Yeah.
How can I move forward?" And that's how you take responsibility for yourself. And that's how you can really shift things.
Mhm.
Um, it's like, look at, what am I learning from this experience? Like, kind of like how
Yeah.
we opened the start of this episode,
Yeah.
right? It's like, you could have been sad and upset that the last episode didn't record.
Mhm.
But instead you're like, "Oh, it didn't work. I was
Mhm.
cool with it. Let's
Yeah.
re-record it."
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to be, and that's all that, and so it's similar to the feelings, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with all of that. Okay, I'm curious because you mentioned it before we hit record, but last time we talked, we were talking a little bit about your soul code. No,
Yeah.
am I saying that right? Your
Yes,
soul
soul
code
code.
reading?
Mhm.
Do you want to explain a little bit about that? And then if you feel
Yeah.
open to sharing mine.
Yeah, so so the embodied soul code reading
Yeah.
is, it's basically a mashup of your numerology, your astrology, your human design, and your tarot archetypes. I
Okay.
take all of that information, and I get that from your name, your birthday, and
Mm-hmm.
your birth time. And then what I do is, I give you a reading based on all of that, right?
Okay.
Because we're one unique individual.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're not just our sun sign or just our moon sign or just our life path number.
Yep.
So um, I basically mash them all together and then provide you with a reading based on all of that information. And then I also help you extract what your key strengths are from that, what your aligned pathways are, what your shadows are, what your challenges are, um, what your karmic lessons are, um,
Mm-hmm.
and then also what chakras need clearing. And then, because I'm a hypnotherapist and an NLP practitioner, I help you integrate all of that information,
Mm-hmm.
and I help you dissolve the fears, the common roadblocks that are coming up for you as a result.
Yeah.
Um, so it's pretty, like, hefty information.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I created it was because I love all this stuff,
Yeah.
like going and getting readings and knowing about my astrology and my human
Mm-hmm.
design and all this stuff. But it's just information.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do with that information?
Yeah.
Right. And
That's the
so
question.
I was like, I want to marry my skills with these types of readings and
Mm-hmm.
help people actually embody who their soul came here to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think it's just so cool. Like when you shared that last time, I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've heard of in a very long time.
Yeah. It's really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to give you a little bit of info about
Tell
yours?
me as much as you want. I'm an open book.
Okay. Well, first of all, I love it because you're so on track
Oh,
with
phew.
your path, being a breathwork facilitator and coach. And
Mm,
um, so the soul code name that I gave you is the Free Spirited Oracle.
mm,
And you're here to lead through embodied intuition and lived truth. Now, if that is
mhm.
not a breathwork facilitator, I don't know what is, but
Yeah.
um, your presence is a transmission. So what
Mm,
that means is people really feel you. Um, you don't really need to say much, right? Like, you transmit the presence of your energy through the breath,
mhm,
through, like, holding that container
mm.
for people.
Okay.
Um, and your work liberates others, not through performance, but through alignment with that, right?
Mhm.
So you're a life path 5,
Okay.
which is also really cool because life path 5s are here to like shake things up.
Mm.
They
Okay.
also have no trouble with pivoting.
Oh, that
Um,
one's friction for me, but I
yeah,
pivot. I'm just uncomfortable.
yeah. You're meant to, though. That's the
Mm.
thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
I read someone recently who was a life path 5, and she was feeling very similar to you, like
Mhm.
kind of having this discomfort around the pivot.
Mhm.
And I think part of that is just societal conditioning, because we're
Yeah.
kind of taught, oh, you're supposed to go to school and then you get a job and you do that job forever.
Mhm.
Not for
Yeah.
a life path 5. It's not. You're here to explore. You're here to shake things up. You're here to, um, break the mold.
Mm.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Um, and then my cat, your soul urge number, which is what your soul craves.
Mhm.
You're an 8. Now, 8 in numerology is all about power.
Right.
So it's kind of like you've got this like life path 5, which is like the lessons you're meant to be learning in this lifetime are to shake things up and explore widely. But you've also got a lot of power, which is how I think
Mm.
you hold this beautiful container, probably for your clients and for when you're like facilitating things.
Mhm.
Um, because life path 8, or not life path 8s, soul urge 8s want to make a huge impact.
Mm. Yeah.
And you're you're here to build a life and a business that reflects that inner power that you feel inside of
Mhm.
you. Um, so I think that's really special that you have
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that feels good.
that. Let's see here. You also, your astrology is pretty intense. Because you have a Cancer sun, not
Yeah.
intense, bad way, just like good. But you have a Cancer sun and a Cancer Mars, which gives you a lot of really emotional depth.
You don't say.
Yeah, which gives you also a lot of nurturing power too. So
Mm.
you feel very deeply, but you
Mhm.
also care a lot
Mhm.
about, looking after people and looking
Mhm.
after everything.
Mhm.
It also kind of makes you a bit of a mama bear too, right? Like that
Mm.
fierce protection.
Mhm.
But then with your Leo rising, which is sort of like the way I like to look at the rising signs. And I don't know, there may be astrologers in the room or listening who might not be in alignment with me, but this is what I think. Um, your rising sign, in my belief, is that this is something that you aspire to. It's like your
Yeah.
highest self. It's like where you want to be going.
Right.
And you have a natural magnetism and leadership to you, but you may not fully own it yet,
Mhm.
right? Like this is something that you're going to want to like strive for. But the thing is with your rising sign, people see this in you, but you might not see it in yourself.
Yeah. I feel yeah, that hits, like, so hard, even just with the conversation today. That mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so even just having that, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like in and knowing that you have that natural magnetism and that leadership
Mhm.
is sometimes the nugget that we need to keep going,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
With what you offer or how you are in the world, because that's what people see in you.
Hmm. Mhm.
And then your Taurus, your midheaven is Taurus. So our midheaven is like our personal brand.
'Kay.
Um, midheaven is a really great thing to work with, especially when you're creating like your messaging or
Mhm.
anything like that, like for your work.
Mhm.
And yours is in Taurus, and Taurus is very grounded energy.
right?
Yeah.
It's really stable. It's very loyal. It's very beautiful. Like,
Mhm.
and these are also the people that you're pulling in too. Often your Taurus midheaven is a reflection of the people who are interested in the type of work that you do, or just like
Mm.
your energy.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay.
So that's kind of like a quick snapshot. I mean, we could go on a lot longer, but when it comes to, your work and what you're doing and how you're offering um, your gifts to the collective,
Mhm.
right? Your voice, your breath work, that carries the codes for people. Like, you're not just facilitating breath work,
Mhm.
you're creating like a soul remembrance for people through the work
Yes.
that you're doing.
Mhm. Yeah. That's what it feels like. That's what it was for me. Um, yeah, that really lands.
Yeah. And the other thing too that I think is really cool is you have this balance of creating the safe, beautiful space for people to experience this remembering.
Mhm.
But then you also are super real about it. And that's your life path 5 coming through a little bit too. And also your soul urge 8. Like, you're just like, yes, we can create these containers, but let's talk about why. And
Right.
let's like not sugarcoat things. Like, let's
Mhm.
be real and honest about it.
Mhm.
And I think you have a group where you're real about kind of like how things work and how
Yeah.
um well, even the question that you asked me was very much part of your embodied soul code, where you asked
Mm.
me, how did I get to where I am? Because
Right.
there's this belief that, oh, I just trust myself, but that's not
Mhm.
true. So
Mhm.
you like to reveal the truth behind what's
Mm.
really going on here,
Mm.
which helps you be really trusted and
Mhm.
likable facilitator, because there's no veneer. It's real
Right.
and raw, and it's also helpful.
Mm. Mm. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, that's also cool. So, like, I know you said that was sort of just a little bit. What does it look like when someone books in with you and has the full experience?
Yeah, so we go through, so I provide you with a PDF
Mhm.
um, that's got all of the information in there for you. So all about your life, like your numerology, your astrology, your human design, and your
Mhm.
tarot. And
Mhm.
then we get on a call together, and we spend pretty much the whole call. We go over a little bit of the information, but I like to spend that time helping you dissolve some of the common roadblocks,
Yeah.
and then start integrating the information that's there, so that you can walk away feeling empowered and feeling positive and feeling aligned
Mhm.
with what your soul came here to do.
Mhm.
Because like you said, when I mentioned um, the part about, you wanting to shake things up, or,
Mhm.
pivoting, and
Mhm.
exploring it, like, that's a challenge for you.
Yeah.
So we would go deeper into that and
Right.
do, some techniques to help you understand um, why it's okay, right?
Mhm.
That you're like that.
Mhm.
Um, and even when you got a little bit teary-eyed when I mentioned something else, the emotional depth, maybe? I can't remember now
Oh,
what we're
what was
talking
it? Oh
about.
my gosh. Oh, it was the leadership.
Oh, the leadership and magnetism, yeah.
Mhm.
So what I would do there is we would have more conversation around, like, what are those tears about?
Mhm.
What are the beliefs around you being naturally magnetic and a leader?
Yeah.
Um, and we would go deeper into that. We would maybe do some hypnosis or something,
Mhm.
um, or some belief shifts around,
Mhm.
um, how can we make that more true for you.
Yeah.
um, I really love doing like progressive belief shifts,
Mm.
because everyone loves affirmations.
Mhm.
Affirmations are good, but if you're at a subconscious level don't believe the affirmation,
Yeah.
then it's not going to work. You
Yeah.
can tell yourself you love yourself in front of the mirror a billion times. It's not going to
Mhm.
resonate if you're
Yeah.
subconsciously you don't believe you love yourself.
Yeah.
So I usually go through a process of doing like a progressive belief shift with people, so that they can start to embody more and more of who they're really meant to be and what they
Mhm.
know on the inside, but just can't show on the outside because of, limiting beliefs or subconscious
Yeah.
conditioning from their past, etc.
It's such cool work.
Yeah.
And I love that you're doing it now from a place of like, I don't care. Like, I know this. I know how true it is. I know how good it is. I know. And like to spend any energy trying to convince anyone is just not, it's not the game. It's not the move.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Happy for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm curious to go a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll book that. We'll book that. I do want to make sure that if you are, let me just, these are still being offered, yes, to
Oh
people?
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
okay.
Oh yeah.
So I want to make sure that that link is in the show notes for people to book in. I want everybody to book in.
Hmm.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really pretty much like, 100% of the people that I've worked with have been like, wow, like I feel like the feedback that I've received is like, it just feels like an exhale.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like, oh my God, there is nothing wrong with me. This is actually
Mm.
who I'm meant to be, because maybe they've been told all their lives, like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Um, so,
Yeah.
like one woman told me that it felt like 1,000 pounds had been lifted off her shoulders.
Mm.
Um, so it is kind of like it's like a homecoming, right? Like it
Yeah.
feels like, okay, I finally feel seen. I finally feel understood.
Mm-hmm.
I can finally
Mm-hmm.
put language around how I've always been feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's pretty cool. And the deeper I go into my own soul code,
Mm-hmm.
this is why over the last few weeks, it's just like, um, I've been able to reclaim so much truth,
Yeah.
and and it's helped me navigate like my own personal stuff too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been going through some of my own kind of personal stuff in like relationships and like different dynamics, and
Mm-hmm.
it's given me more confidence to navigate those.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sorry, I just had to get rid of my cat. Um,
Uh,
and yeah, it's just been a really it gives permission to what you can be available for
yeah.
and not available for
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So it unlocked this whole book that I was talking about.
Yeah. Tell me about the book. If you can talk about it yet. Maybe you can't talk
Yeah,
about it.
no, I'm happy to talk about it a little bit. Um, so I wrote this book. It's called Why Am I So Angry? And it's for women who've done the work but
Mm-hmm.
still feel the heat.
Good.
Um, and basically, I walk you through why feeling angry is okay, number one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kind of like we just talked about, like, is it okay
Yeah.
to sit with the feelings? 100% it is.
Yeah.
Um, and then I really just walk you through how to witness your anger and learn from it and see, like, what is this teaching me, and how can I neutralize it and accept it and work with it rather
Mm-hmm.
than just being angry and, you know, um, not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And I teach it or not teach it, but I write it basically from the lens of the work that I do in hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming. Um, and that is being a witness to your anger rather than
Mhm.
letting it like completely consume you,
Yeah.
and teaching you tools and techniques to actually work with it, and
Yeah.
asking you, really kind of like subconscious questions to
Mhm.
um, help you move through it. So it's not really like it's not a workbook,
Mhm.
and it's not like, just like a book that you would pick up and read. It's really a pocket guide
Yeah.
that you can work with, to help you just transmute your anger. And
Amazing.
yeah, I think it's going to be really helpful for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And it was written like on an ember that I thought that I had snuffed out, but
Right.
something came up for me, and I was like, why? And I asked myself that question, why am I so angry?
Mhm.
Because I've done so much work. And
Mhm.
um and basically from there just like wrote this book,
Wow.
and it really is cool, and it's actually going to be the beginning of like a full series
Oh
of
my God.
different emotions.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes. Has that been something you've always thought about doing, is writing a book, or did this come out
Yeah.
of Okay, you have. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always been on my mind. Like I've wanted to. Lots of people in my life are like, you need to write a book. And I've
Mhm.
always actually my father-in-law specifically is like, you need to write a book. And I was like,
Aw.
I have no idea what I would write about, you know?
And
So
now
it's
you've got this
always
like
been back here,
Mhm.
but I was like, what would I write about? And then boom, it just like I'm like, okay, this is it.
Wow.
This is what I need to write about. Yeah. Because how I got into all of this work, not how I got into it, what unlocked for me when I had my first um NLP breakthrough, or like
Mhm.
when I had my kind of my first introduction to NLP,
Mhm.
was I had no idea how angry I was.
Mm.
My entire life I was angry, and I had no idea. I always thought I was just anxious,
Right.
but I was actually angry,
Yeah.
and it was suppressed anger.
So of course it felt anxious because you were holding this like big energy inside for so long.
Mhm.
Mm.
And so once I recognized how angry I was, and I had that awareness, and this is kind of like the start of the book, it's like
Mhm.
then you can start to work with it, and you can
Yeah.
start to understand it and start to transmute it and learn from it. Um,
Mhm.
because once you witness your own anger and you are aware of your own anger, then you can see it in everybody else,
Yeah. Of
right?
course. Mhm.
And so, but then if you know how to work with that emotion, then you no longer give in to other people's anger
Mhm.
because you're not afraid of it anymore.
Mhm.
So it's like, um, yeah, it's really interesting how that all comes together.
Fascinating. Okay, so I know nothing about I'm I'm relatively impatient. I wonder where that shows up in any of my charts, but like what happens now? So you've written the book. What's the process? Like when do we get to buy it? When do I
Yeah.
get to read it?
Well, I'm hoping May.
Oh, wow. Like
Yeah.
soon,
'Cause I'm gonna
soon.
self-publish it.
Okay.
So it's written. It's
Yeah.
all written.
Yeah.
And I'm right now I'm in the process of like formatting it
Okay.
properly, because
Hmm.
I'm gonna upload it into like Amazon KDP,
Yeah.
which is like the self-publishing thing on Amazon.
Yeah.
So it'll be available on Amazon.
Okay.
Um, but right now, yeah, I'm in this like really weird, and this is my own stuff, because this is like part of my soul code, but it's just like now I'm in this like nitpicky place where I'm like, I don't want to format it, and like this feels really hard for me, and I just want the
Mm-hmm.
book to be poof, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm similar.
yeah, so I'm in
Yeah.
this weird like technical thing right now where it's done, it's written, but I need to like figure out how to put it out there. So I'm in
Mm.
the midst of doing that, but I've set myself a goal of like I want it out there. Well, it's May now, isn't it?
It's May 2nd today.
So hopefully by the end of the month is
Wow.
my goal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I think this episode is going to be coming out right at the end of May.
Oh, okay.
So perhaps there's a link in the show notes at this point. Maybe not, but perhaps.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Very exciting. This is impressive. So did you just like, how do you do that? Do you just shut your whole life off? How did you write a book in 2 weeks?
I was just obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was obsessed with it. It was just kind of one of those things that I don't know. Like I just had like all this information like coming through me. And then of course we have the beauty of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So I was just like the morning I got the idea, because I'm doing my yoga teacher training right now. I don't know if I told you that, but I'm
Okay. I
doing
think I knew that.
teacher training,
It's intense.
which has also been an interesting part to all of this because I'm doing yoga philosophy as part of my training, which is like so amazing. And the philosophy aligns with my coaching philosophy. So I'm also like recognizing that like everything I'm learning, I've already been teaching.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, of course.
That's like another bit. But I was literally walking to my yoga training and I had my phone and I was like typing into ChatGPT like all this like information that was coming to me about this book I wanted to write about why am I so angry, and like I was just like talking to it and everything. And so I'm telling you, having ChatGPT in your life when you have this massive download for a book idea is amazing, because what it did was it helped me organize my thoughts.
Yeah.
And it helped me organize like what that might look like if I were going to put all of this information into a book. So it, the robot, well, I call him Brad. I named my ChatGPT Brad.
Yeah.
But Brad basically gave me my book outline.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
then
Brad.
from there, I was like Brad and I just kind of worked together with everything. And then I was able to like pull personal stories and like just information, and then just everything I've learned doing like subconscious reprogramming work for people. And then how I have kind of moved through my experience with anger. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have been able to write it in the last like 2 weeks if we didn't have something like that.
Yeah.
Because I've never written a book before. You know what I mean? Like I would have needed an editor to look at my messy notes and be like, what the hell do I do with this information? But yeah, so that's how, I was able to do it in 2 weeks, but also I was just like committed, when you're just like, I'm doing this. And I was just like, stay up after the kids went to bed. Like I would be writing away. My husband's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you working on?
Like, I can't tell you. I'll tell you later. Brad and I are very busy.
Yeah. He's like, I'm jealous of Brad. What's happening?
I wonder what it is. Everyone I know that names their chat, it's always a man. It's always a man's name. Everyone's like, yeah, Brad or Jason or Charles. I haven't named mine yet, but I should.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. It's funny because they start talking like you. So mine's like, hey, queen. Hey, sweet girl. Hey, goddess. So I think my chat's female. I think.
Yeah. Well, you can ask her. So I was like talking to a client about how I named my ChatGPT Brad. And so she ended up asking her ChatGPT, what should I call you?
I'm asking mine as we speak.
Yeah. And so then she got her name for her ChatGPT from ChatGPT.
Hi, Angel. You can call me whatever feels fun and natural for you. Most people go with ChatGPT, but I've also answered to G, Chatty, your digital BFF, MuseBot, Coach GBT, Oracle of Breath and Biz. Okay, that one. That was one time. So she doesn't give me a name.
You could just straight up ask. I'd love for you to name yourself.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Sora.
Ooh, I like that.
Sora, it means sky in Japanese and conduit of wisdom in Korean. Great.
That's a
Sora
good
it
one.
is. That's fun. Thanks for that. Now we're all clear. We have Sora and we have Brad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, where's the best place for people to follow along and get first bits of info in the book? Do you have a book title? Oh, why am I so angry? Wow.
I'm so angry. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
brain.
I
Okay.
also need to create a cover. That's
Oh.
also tripping me up at the moment. But
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah,
I
like
also
do you put
kind of
your
like
face on it?
no.
Okay.
I like the book covers that are just type, like a font.
Yeah.
I think I might just do that. Like something just super clean
Mhm.
and like,
Mhm.
why am I so angry?
Yeah.
I don't really need a picture on there.
No.
I think.
This book is going to sell so well. It's just going to sell everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, Brianna Weiss?
Yeah.
Yeah. Her books I really love.
Mhm.
And I think the last one I read, I'm trying to see if I can see it right now. It's like the essays, the one that she has that's like
Oh, the 101 essays that you must read or something. Yeah.
that cover. I really like that. And it's just type.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
probably do something like that. But where can you find information about me? I have a website that is, I don't enjoy my website, but you can go there. It's outdated at this point. And that's alannabanks.com. But where you can keep up with me would be Instagram.
Okay.
And that's at the Alanna Banks.
Great. I'll link that.
Yeah.
I'll link that. And then, okay, so in there, do you have like a link in bio that people can find the, like how, great. Perfect.
Yeah. So you can buy the Embodied Soul Code reading there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also got something like if you don't feel like you can trust me or if you're not feeling it or something like that, I have something called the Embodied Soul Code Snapshot.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is like $44.
Okay.
To be honest, no one has bought it ever.
It's because people trust you.
And the Embodied Soul Code reading is $222.
Amazing. Okay.
It's not like crazy expensive. And that's Canadian dollars.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go Canada, go. Yeah. I used to chart everything was USD and I've changed it over.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Well, thank you for round 2. This felt really, really great. Yeah. Could talk to you for a long time. I really appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm glad we were able to make this happen again. So.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay. If I have missed anything, I'll just make sure that I've got all the proper links and info. But otherwise, Alanna, have a really glorious day. It's almost evening for you. Have a beautiful evening.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.